feel like the world is falling apart right now, you are not alone. And it's so easy to fall into negative thought, worry, anxiety, stress about everything going on right now. And that's our biggest mistake. It's the biggest mistake we can do. I mentioned this in one of the other videos that I filmed a while ago, but if you know anything about how thought forms have a lot of impact on our reality and our physical reality around us. So basically, if you hold like a subconscious thought in your subconscious or in your field, that will manifest in a certain way. An example of that being is if I hold the subconscious thought that I am not beautiful based on some sort of experience or trauma from my past, I might manifest certain symptoms in my face, in my body, or in my being that to me I will always find not beautiful. And that's why there's so much power and healing that can come from changing this subconscious thought. And why that matters in this situation is because the same rule applies to life situations and worldwide events. Just as our body is a microcosm of, or a macrocosm, I don't know how to use that term right. I'm not gonna use that word. Just as our body is like a canvas for what our mind, the stories that our mind is playing, the world, what is going on in the world is a reflection of what's going on in each of us on a very individual level. And if you are into spirituality, or if you are into spiritual growth or self-growth, personal growth, I find they can be very intertwined. And if you've had this like process of awakening, and when I say awakening, I mean just starting to wake up to all of the corruptedness in the world, all of the ways that society is created to be against the truest, most wildest form of the human spirit, and it literally exists to crush that spirit and to kill it. And there's a lot of programming that can be put into our minds from society, growing up, going to any sort of public school or institution, whatever it may be. And we're constantly reminded that we are powerless, that we don't have any power, that we need to have external items or materials to make us powerful. And it's not true. It's programming. Because one of the most powerful things that we as humans can do to help a situation is hold a positive thought, is to hold a positive vibration in our hearts, in our beings. And this vibration will affect the situation. I can give an example of one time this actually happening in my life. This was during COVID, and I am a US citizen, but I studied in Canada. And now this was a time when crossing the border was very difficult because you needed to prove that you had a reason to be in the other country. It was before the vaccines. And so I had come home for a long time, for about probably close to 7 months in the States, and I was trying to get back to Canada to start my school year off with my friends and in my apartment, and just get back to Canada, to my community, to the people who I'd missed so much over this time. So of course I had a huge emotional attachment to going back. And I arrive at the airport, and I had all the papers necessary that I needed to prove that I was going to school there, that I had my visa and everything. And they were like, yeah, it doesn't look like we're gonna let you get on the plane. It doesn't look like we're gonna let you go back. And instead of jumping into fear and saying, oh my God, I knew this was gonna happen, I should have known, I should have just stayed home, or I shouldn't have got my hopes up. Instead of jumping into all of that, I just stopped, I paused, and I imagined in my mind the scenario of all of the gate agents and all of the agents who are working saying, oh, it's okay, you're fine, you can go on the plane, all is good to go. And I just repeated that over and over and over in my mind, and I held this this frequency in my heart of everything working out. Everything is going to work out. And it did work out, and it was, the way it happened seemed so like it was luck. It felt like luck. And that was one of the biggest moments, or like the first moments during my journey of this experimentation with positive thought, that really proved to me how much this has effect. And there are so many examples out there. You could do your own research on that. Now, coming back to what I was saying before, the world is a reflection of what's going on in our own individual worlds. And I think that I've been listening to a lot of like people speaking about kind of the spiritual view of like what's going on right now. And I do have to say that the message that's resonating with me the most, and that I hope if I could give something and share something to a new community, would be that there can be beauty that arises in chaos. And the way that this old world functions, this old society functions, is falling apart. There's never been a time, well, let's say right now is the time where it feels like there's the most like light being shed on all the corruption, on all of the things that is going on all the toxins, on all the ways that our race of human is ruining, quote unquote ruining, the world. And so again, it's easy to fall into this spiral, and I catch myself often like, oh my God, what are we gonna do when we don't have any more resources? And just stop. I just tell myself, stop. That negativity and that spiral will never end, and it will never get you anywhere. Although you think that the fear and the anxiety and the worry will protect you from some sort of potential danger coming your way, it will not. And the thing that will help us change course and go into a positive direction is focusing inward on all of the shadow within you and doing the difficult work to bring that up and out and shed light on it. Having the courage to go deep within yourself and say, how am I contributing to this worldwide chaos? And no, I'm not saying that like you're up there in the sky and you're controlling the weather or whatever. I'm just asking you to take self-responsibility for maybe, how am I engaging in toxic ways of relating, or how am I stepping in my own way of living the dream life I want? How am I engaging in people-pleasing behaviors that at the end of the day is making me, is distancing me even farther from the life that I dream of, or the life that is most aligned with me? The list can go on and on. And there's this quote, I don't know who says it, but it's like something about how the parts of me that are broken is where the light is able to flood in. And I find that so beautiful, and I feel that truly deeply for this time in the world, where we're being cracked open, like all of these places being hit by these storms and all of the things going on with everything. It's like, okay, like these places are being cracked open. These people who have been living in these places for year after year after year, whether they're awakened or not, their pattern is going to be interrupted because their home is going to get taken away, or like water, power, everything is going to be washed away, and they're going to have to find a new way to live. And that's where we see progress. That's where we see amelioration in the way of being. And I just felt like I really wanted to share a more positive way of thinking, and even like a practice that I often do, or that you can do, that will help the collective, is like just going deep into your heart space and being like, thank you earth, so much for everything that you give to me. Thank you sun for shining on me, for lighting my day, for keeping me warm. Thank you trees for giving me all the air that I need, and thank you for receiving my exhale. Thank you for this synergistic relationship that we have. Thank you earth for supporting my feet. Thank you earth for being the stability underneath my body. Thank you sky for watching over me. Thank you for providing such beautiful views that my senses of my eyes can take in and satisfy parts of my soul. The list goes on and on and on, and once you start, you can just keep rolling with it and just give out that feeling of gratitude, that feeling of love. Like, you have a choice. You can either stay in the negativity or you can rise in love. And when we say rise in love, is because it's not the first choice normally, love. Like, on a more, like, on a smaller scale example, when you're in a fight with your partner, or your spouse, or your whoever, of course, if something they do hits a part of your ego, the first thing that you're going to respond with is either like snippiness or like bitterness or like defensiveness, because that's natural. That's like how we are created as humans. And choosing love is fucking hard. It's fucking hard to like stand up and be like, look, I'm sick of this negativity, I'm sick of the fighting, and I choose connection. Like, even right now, with all the dividedness and the separation and the war and the lies and the manipulation, like, yeah, there's a big part of me that's like, I don't want to choose love. Stop. I don't want to choose it because it's just so unfair. But that's the lie. Like, that's the lie that we've been taught to believe, that we need to like protect ourselves and like fight for like all the injustice that's been put against us as just like the common people in this world. And the true test is like, can you have all of that wash over you and say, I still am here, and I am here in love. I am still here, and I am here in love. And there's nothing that you can do that can shake me from this space, from this vibration that I resonate from the deepest depths of my soul. And that is how we are going to make some sort of change. That is how we can fight back to what seems like a system that is so set in place on crushing our power to the ground. That is how we ignite our power and ignite that fire inside of us that we have been lied to for years and centuries and millennia, lied to that it doesn't exist. Whew. And yeah, keep taking deep breaths. And just remember that everything happens for a reason, and it's all gonna be okay.